The Fox and the Stork. In a corner of the forest, where the shadows of the trees intertwined as if they were a single net, lived a clever and skilled fox. Her reddish fur shimmered in the sun, and her eyes sparkled with a penetrating gaze, always alert to any sign of movement. The fox was known for her ingenuity and the speed with which she got what she wanted. No one in the forest knew better than she how to evade danger and take advantage of any situation. One day, while walking along the solitary paths of the forest, the fox came across a stork. It was a creature of great elegance, with a long neck that stretched up toward the sky, and white feathers that gleamed with the purity of snow. The stork walked slowly, as if in no hurry, and her majestic posture made her stand out amid the vegetation. But what caught the fox's attention the most was not just her appearance, but the serenity with which she moved, as if she were always observing everything from above, untouched by anything. The fox, upon seeing her, couldn't help but feel a spark of amusement. How interesting, she thought. This stork, so calm and so proper, seems so unaware of the mischief I usually get into. Maybe it's time to put her to the test. With her sly smile, she approached the stork and greeted her in a soft and friendly tone. "Hello, dear stork. How are you today?" The stork, showing no signs of distrust, replied in her deep but serene voice. "Very well, thank you, fox. But I've heard a lot about your cleverness, and I can't help but wonder if you have any surprises in store for me today." The fox, trying to hide her intentions, laughed softly. "Oh no, nothing like that. I just wanted to invite you to my house. I've prepared a delicious feast, and it would be an honor for you to join me." The stork, although cautious, couldn't turn down such a polite invitation. The fox was famous for being hospitable, and though something told her to stay alert, she decided to follow her. "Well, I suppose there's no harm in accepting your invitation, fox. We'll see how delicious your soup is." They both headed to the fox's den, a small refuge hidden among the bushes and tree roots, where the scent of herbs and damp earth was comforting. The fox led the way to prepare the feast, and soon appeared with a steaming bowl of soup, served in a flat, shallow plate. "Here it is," said the fox, her voice bright. "I've cooked this soup especially for you, stork. I'm sure you'll like it." The stork, without saying a word, approached the bowl, but when she saw what the fox had served, her eyes narrowed slightly. The plate was low, too low for her to use her long beak to drink. However, not wanting to seem rude, she leaned forward, but her beak couldn't reach the soup. She tried once, then again, but the soup remained out of her reach. Meanwhile, the fox eagerly began drinking, burying her snout in the bowl and sipping the soup quickly. Every time she saw the stork trying, she smiled, satisfied and delighted in the situation. The stork, although a little uncomfortable, said nothing. She just watched the fox enjoy the food, while she herself couldn't even taste the broth. The fox, with her belly full, lay back in her corner and with a victorious smile said, "So how is it, dear friend? Is the soup good?" The stork, although slightly annoyed, kept her composure. In a calm voice she replied, "Yes, very tasty. Although, I must admit that the plate isn't really suitable for someone with a beak as long as mine. In fact, it's a bit hard to eat." The fox, without showing any remorse, let out a mocking laugh. "Oh, what a shame," she said with a sarcastic tone. "I had forgotten how difficult utensils can be for those who don't know how to use them. But oh well, that's just how it is. Would you like me to accompany you to your house one day, so you can prepare something for me?" The stork didn't reply, but a spark of cleverness flashed in her eyes. "We'll see," she thought, and stayed silent as the fox settled down to rest. It wasn't long before the stork, with her calm but determined gaze, invited the fox to her nest, high up in a tree, where she lived and fed. The fox, confident, accepted without thinking twice. When they arrived at the stork's nest, the fox observed the height of the tree and the nest, a small refuge between the branches. The stork, with her characteristic posture, began to prepare the food. "I've prepared a special soup for you, fox," the stork said. "I hope you like it." The fox, upon seeing the bowl where the soup was to be served, frowned. The plate was high, with a narrow neck that only allowed the stork, with her long beak, to eat comfortably. She tried to get closer to the bowl, but couldn't. Her snout didn't even come close, and her short legs couldn't support her in a way that allowed her to drink. The stork, on the other hand, began enjoying the contents calmly, using her long beak to scoop up spoonfuls of soup. The fox, frustrated, watched in silence. As the minutes passed, her face started to lose its calm. The stork, noticing the fox's discomfort, couldn't help but smile gently. Finally, she broke the silence. "How do you feel, Fox? Is the soup to your liking?" The fox, embarrassed and tired of trying without success, jumped up. "This isn't fair," she exclaimed, filled with anger. "I should be able to eat too." The stork, maintaining her serenity, looked at her and said, "Now you know how it feels when someone puts you in an uncomfortable situation. Sometimes, what we give to others returns to us in a way we don't expect." The fox, tail between her legs and face red with embarrassment, could do nothing but remain silent. She realized she had learned an important lesson. She shouldn't play cruel tricks on others. With a mix of embarrassment and understanding, the fox said goodbye to the stork, who watched her in silence, satisfied for having taught a lesson with wisdom. From that day on, the fox learned to be more cautious with her jokes, and the stork continued to fly high, always calm, always wise. And although many more games and tricks happened in the forest, the story of the fox and the stork remained in everyone's memory as a reminder that those who play with fire sometimes end up getting burned. Moral: don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. If you've enjoyed these stories and let yourself be carried away by the fantasy, I invite you to subscribe to our community to continue enjoying fables and tales of fantasy. See you next time.